Greetings, session heads. Today I'm going to be wrapping up Alamosa, Colorado, as I tell you about the final brewery. Okay, so final is a bit of a strong word. It sounds ominous. But what I mean by that is, to my knowledge, there are 3 breweries in Alamosa, 2 of which I've already covered in this series. If you remember, the second episode I ever did was about the Colorado Farm Brewery, where I got to perform. And then I also talked in an episode about Square Peg Brewing, which had to change its name to Spare Keg Brewing. So that leaves one remaining final brewery in Alamosa. And interestingly enough, it's the brewery in which I've spent the most amount of time there in Alamosa. It's San Luis Valley Brewing, or SLV Brewing. And here's the story of why I've spent so much time there. Every year since 2012, except for 2020, I have performed in Alamosa. It's one of the favorite parts of my summer. It's always part of a southwestern Colorado tour that ends with Tuesday performances in Durango and a Wednesday performance in Alamosa before I head back home. And I get to play in their little park there near downtown, right on the banks of the Rio Grande. So I spent a lot of time in Alamosa. I've had some adventures. I've met lots of people, lots of experiences. I've written a lot of songs in my hotel room. I just have a lot of very, very fond memories in Alamosa. And one of my favorite traditions is when I arrive in Alamosa on Tuesday evening, I check into my hotel, which I want to give a shout out to. It's called the Sunset Inn. And I want to give a shout out just because it's near downtown, it's safe, it's clean, and the staff knows me now. They recognize me and ask how my tour is going, and they have cats. You will be followed to your room by a cat, escorted to your room by a cat if you're willing to give them a pat on the head. So it's just kind of a neat experience. So I check into the Sunset, wash off the trail dust, and then I walk downtown to SLV Brewing for dinner and a pint. And I really enjoy this walk. It's usually at the end of a summer day, so the air is nice. Watching the sunset, the Sangre de Cristo Mountains are just gorgeous. Often a storm has just blown through, so there's some crazy clouds in the sky. I really, really look forward to this walk. It's very quiet and contemplative for me. So SLV Brewing, as I mentioned, is right downtown. It's in this really neat historic building, so it's got a cool exterior, and the interior is also really, really cool. They've done a great job there. It's a very chill, relaxed vibe. It's a restaurant-style brewery, so they do have a kitchen with a full menu. Over the years, I've tried a lot of their food. But I've really landed on their burgers. They make a great burger there, so that's usually what I get. For me, the experience at SLV Brewing is a very personal, quiet, it's some me time. I usually am on my laptop, I journal, I draw, I write lyrics to songs, or just kind of spend some quiet time by myself. But it's not a quiet place. It's hoppin' usually. It is a very, very popular favorite hangout for the locals. So it's usually pretty full, lots of groups of people. They have sports on the TVs. It's family friendly, so you'll see a lot of people there in groups having fun. It's just that in the midst of all this wonderful hubbub, I'm the quiet guy over in the corner at the high top or cozied up to the bar, reflecting on life and just enjoying the evening. So the beer. So SLV Brewing, they have got their beer dialed in. They brew flagship beers, so they're very consistent, so you can always count on getting your favorite. And for me, that favorite is their Mexican lager, which is called Valle Especial, or Valley Special. It is a lighter beer, it's a little lower in alcohol, so it pairs really nicely with dinner, especially on like a hot summer day. But actually my favorite is a derivation of that lager called Valle Caliente. It's called Caliente because it has the flavor of green hatch chilies in it, so it has a little bit of heat. Not too much, it's not gonna set your mouth on fire, not gonna make you sweat, but just a little bit of heat and that wonderful taste of green chilies, which is so ubiquitous in Southern Colorado. It's an ingredient you'll find in tons of dishes. When you're in Alamosa, you're almost in New Mexico, so a green chili is very, very popular and it's everywhere. So when I have a Valle Caliente, I feel like I'm drinking a true San Luis Valley beer, a true Alamosa beer. It really makes me feel like I'm there. And so I look forward to my burger and my green hatch chili beer every year. So that's really it. I really want to recommend them. Obviously, I've been there over a dozen times. I keep going back, so I obviously sincerely like the place and can endorse it. And if you find yourself in Alamosa, and you might, why would you find yourself in Alamosa? Well, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, it's a base camp for the Great Sand Dunes National Park, which is a must-see. That is an incredible park to visit. Also, the Sangre de Cristos have a lot of mountains to be climbed there. There's Lindsay and Blanca and Ellingwood and Little Bear and the Crestones and Humboldt and Kit Carson. There's a bunch of 14ers that you can climb there, and Alamosa is the biggest town in that area. The Rio Grande flows through Alamosa, so there's some wetlands and trails. And at a certain time of the year, every year, the sand cranes come through, so birders will, no pun intended, flock to Alamosa and the nearby town of Monte Vista to check out the sand cranes. So if you're a birder, you could be there during the crane festival. But yeah, definitely if you're there, head downtown, head over to SLV Brewing and treat yourself to some alone time with a burger and a Valle Caliente beer, and just enjoy the evening. If you want to follow me on my adventures around Colorado to explore craft beer through the eyes of a musician, you can find me on all the social networking things that I've figured out so far. And I do have a website too where you can find all these episodes and find out where I'm playing next. But until then, here's to SLV Brewing, here's to Alamosa, here's to Colorado. Drink it all in.